Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by my lovely co host, Angel.
Hi.
Today we are back discussing Poor Charles' Tainted Love. We're at week 9 already, so we are coming towards the end.
We are.
And I feel like a lot happened this week. It's very action packed. So I will roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So, okay, so we pick up where Jamal and Gabby are having an altercation, and she had last blurted out that she's his sister, or you're my brother, or I don't remember how that went, but that they're siblings.
They're related. They're
So that was like the big cliffhanger, or one of the big cliffhangers last week.
Mhm.
And he doesn't believe it at first, and she has the paperwork to prove it. Apparently, they have the same father. You said we don't meet their parents, right?
We don't meet their parents, I don't think.
So they're not anybody like in like the General Hospital universe.
Right.
Okay.
Like I said, the only like kind of relation he has in the General Hospital universe is with Dara Jensen, who was a character back in like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
She was with not Jagger. Wow. Taggart.
Freudian slip because of what's going on Twitter right now.
Yes, so that's exactly what it was. I was like,
wow. So yeah, he basically has her like in a chokehold with a stake, and Allison like is stopping him and then this all happens with the paperwork. She tries to play on his emotions by being like she wants to have a relationship with him, and then they need to make up with so much time that they lost. And it ends up with them getting her into Chris's cage that electrocutes you or shocks you when you touch it. And throughout the episodes, Gabby is basically trying to seduce Chris into letting her out and playing on his ego that she can make him like all powerful. And
Did you mention that Chris set the cage on fire to get people to rescue him?
Oh, did that happen this week?
That happened this week, yeah.
Probably the first episode.
Early in the week. It was like maybe the second episode, I think.
Oh, that's right, because he was locked in there because Jack put him in there.
Because Jack put him in there, so he got out the cage because like Allison and Jamal got him out.
Right. Good. I forgot about that.
He was there. He was just like, I was like, "What happened to you?" I set the thing on fire just to get some attention. Like, what?
Set off the fire alarms, the smoke alarms. So last we saw Jack, he was at the monastery and he was in the basement looking for any kind of clues as to how to stop Caleb or where he may have taken Livy. And he walked into a separate room where we found, I guess, a coffin with a glass cover with someone that appeared to be Livy in there. And I speculated that maybe it was like a terrestrial body thing and that is Livy, or it was a taxidermied original Livia. And I think it is the latter. It's a taxidermied original. Because remember, I was like, it doesn't quite look like her. Because I was like, is that Olivia? So then we go back. Jack actually realizes that it's not Livy. It's Olivia. And we're back at like Caleb's magical resort.
It gets a name this episode. We're not going to mention it yet.
Yeah. I have thoughts about that. And, you know, they're still like hanging out with the sheets blowing, and he has her like 5 feet apart by his arm, and he's like gonna bite her. And she's like, do it. I want you to do it.
Do it. Very sexual.
But then he has a flashback to original Olivia, and it is a different actress who looks similar. Not quite, but similar.
Not credited too, because I looked at the credits and they didn't mention who it was. Probably because she didn't speak. So,
oh,
you know, if you don't speak, you don't get a credit. So,
so totally unrelated, but it just came into my head because you said that. Do you know I know, like, back in, like, 2000-ish, there was, like, a Brenda stand-in, and I think it was, like, Ava Longoria.
It was.
Was she credited?
I don't remember, but I don't remember if she was in the credits,
Okay.
but they did mention it in, like, soap opera magazines that it was Eva Longoria. Like,
Yeah,
especially when she got the role of, what was her name? Oh my gosh, not
yeah,
Doug, wow. I'm actor, I'm sorry. Paul's, like,
right, on Young
wife,
and the
yeah,
Restless,
Isabella.
Isabella. I was gonna
Yeah,
call it
Isabella,
Gabrielle, I'm like, 'cause they're all named Gabrielle. That's, like,
yeah,
most
Isabella, yeah.
Isabella, right?
Oh, no, if she was named Gabrielle, I would be like, "Okay, what is with you guys, and what is with Hispanic people
'Cause
named
then she was
Gabrielle
Gabby on Desperate
in
Housewives. That's
it's
the go-to
so
name for a
proud.
Latina.
We are uncovering the truths about
So one of my best girlfriends from high school is, like, she's mixed, she's, like, Dominican, Black, and a bunch of other things, and we saw an Instagram reel of, like, the WB from, like, 1998, and it was, like, the way this had us in a chokehold or gagged or something, and she sent it to me, and she's like, "You really did," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not one person of color in
person of
this
color.
promo at all."
Nope.
She's like, "I'm reading the comments, and they said that diversity was the different hair colors."
Yes, it was.
She's like, "I don't know why I wasn't mad back then, but I am now."
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm mad about it now. Back then, I didn't care. I was a teenager. I was like,
Right.
"Yes, Dawson's Creek. Yes, popular."
Yeah. Okay, but that was a really long tangent. Anyway, back to Port
Back
Charles.
to Port Charles.
Where were we? Oh, so he has flashbacks with original Olivia who doesn't speak. And apparently he got too out of hand and he killed her when he bit her. So now he's hesitant to bite Livy
Mhm.
because they're not married yet, so he can't do that just yet.
Yeah, no biting until marriage.
Right. Aw,
Li
at least he
listen
has
to me,
morals.
Jack and Gabby.
Um, where am I? Oh, so later on, the sheets just, like, disappear because I guess Caleb could do that. And I
And
guess
he just,
Olivia
like,
takes a nap.
he just takes a like, a
Yeah.
little break. That's
Pardon me. Olivia takes a little nap, and she wakes up to a love letter from him, and then she decides that she's gonna write a goodbye letter to Jack, which ends up making her realize that she still loves Jack. It's kind of breaking the spell that Caleb has over her.
Mhm.
Because towards the end, she's kinda like, "I do love you, Jack," and she's, like, realizing, like, what's going on isn't really kosher.
Yeah, it's not right. This is not happening the way I thought it was.
Right. Um, so then Caleb comes. I can't remember if he had paid Michael a visit already or if this was before. But Caleb comes and she's like, "I can't remember what I was doing." He's like, "I think you were writing me a love letter." And then, like, it's just blank. And she's like, "You're right."
Mhm.
Oh, Kevin and Lucy are still trying to convince Ian and Eve, but mostly
Mhm.
Ian, that vampires are real.
Yeah.
And they want to go to the monastery to look for Livy. And Ian doesn't want to be anywhere near Michael because he thinks Michael wants to be with Eve, and he's not really wrong. Um, what happened next? I'm trying to remember the order.
I know that, like, when they go to the monastery, Ian's like, "Eve, you stay here." And she's like, "I don't want a babysitter. I wanna come too."
Right.
So, and then they get to the monastery, and I know there was a lot of character development moments during that time.
Well, yeah. Wow, why am I blanking on what happened in the monastery? I know. Wow, I'm really blanking on what happened, and I just watched it.
Wasn't it when they come in and then they heard Jack talking to Michael because he was about to attack Michael, thinking that he was Caleb.
Right.
But I think there was something before that though.
Is this also where they found the picture of the mansion that Livy is
Yeah,
at? Okay.
it's
And
around
when
that around that time because like Jack did something to the casket
uh-huh,
or whatever that was, and the picture kind of falls out a little bit, and
right.
then after he or or was it after? I think it might have been before he Michael comes. He attacked. He like gets the picture. But I
Okay,
think when Michael comes, he like hides the picture or something like that, and then that's when Michael comes. He thinks he's Caleb. Then Lucy, Kevin, Eve, and Ian all come down. Eve has to convince Jack that
that
that Michael,
that's Michael.
that's Michael and not Caleb
Right,
in a in
right, in a
reasonable
space
aspect.
outfit.
Yeah.
Which, could happen because I suspected it
Mhm.
at one point. Um, it said Maison something, I can't remember what it was,
Maison de la Noche.
but the whole Maison was, like, making me think of days. I'm like, "Oh, like Maison Blanche?"
Maison Blanche, yeah.
Um, we still don't know exactly where this is. I can't imagine that this is just a place in Port Charles that nobody's ever seen that just now magically appears.
Yeah, because when Allison looked it up, she didn't specify a location. She
Right.
just said it was in the mountains.
Oh, it's in the mountains? Because that looks really
Yeah, she
tropical.
didn't specify that this was in Port Charles. She just said it was in the mountains, and it will take them a long time for them to get there.
Oh, wow. Huh. Because it looks like it's I mean, we didn't really see a beach, but it looks like it's like a tropical
Mhm.
resort.
Yeah, that's what threw me off too.
Hmm. Um, so at the resort, Caleb promises, Livy that he could give her anything she wants, and it's actually the wedding day, and
Mhm.
she's like, "You're not supposed to see the bride on the wedding day," and she's like, "There's just one thing I wish you would happen or be here or whatever," and they don't really say what it is, and then he walks away, and Kimberlin Brown appeared again. That was a
She's
nice
back.
surprise.
That was a nice surprise. I forgot that she had appeared. In fact, I don't even think I watched this week when I was watching it regularly. So it was a nice surprise for me to see her again.
Yeah, I like these little, like, pop-ups.
Hmm.
Um, we're definitely in a territory where I don't really remember much of what happens now until, like, maybe I know how it ends, but
Hmm.
everything else is just gonna be like, "A what?" for me.
Yeah, it's like, what was I even doing in 2001?
In
And
August, like, I wasn't in school, what was I doing?
I know I wasn't in school at all. I don't even think I was in summer camp or anything like because I was like a teenager, so that
Yeah,
wouldn't be possible.
um, so Victor apparently went to go bring flowers to the judge's grave, the one,
Mhm.
Lucy hit with a bedpan that died
Yeah.
when they mentioned Caleb's name. But he's not dead
Nope.
because the body's gone.
Yep. I kind of figured that that was going to happen because I was like, how come he's been a vampire and hasn't come back yet? I'm like, oh, there's my answer.
I guess I didn't really think about him because I don't know, I guess I just figured he was like a throwaway character,
Hmm.
but that's cool that they worked him back in. I guess this marriage is legal as well as mystical because he got an official judge to
Yeah.
perform the ceremony. Um, it was so weird for me to see Kimberly Brown. She looked beautiful, by the way, because I'm also watching 1994 Bold, and so it's like weird to see like her 7 years later. Like I'm watching two different like time frames of her career.
Hmm.
Um, so Caleb tells Livy that they're gonna have a baby, that there's a baby that's gonna enter their family.
Hmm.
And I know I'm kind of skipping ahead, but like when he said soon and then Eve started having the pains, I was like, is he
Hmm.
inducing the labor? Like, is he doing
That's what
this?
I'm thinking.
Because she kept saying it's not time, it's too soon. And then I was like,
Hmm.
is Caleb doing this to her? Can he do that? I mean, he could probably do anything.
Yeah, the way I think he gets to his heart too. And mine.
I was laughing at Allison because she was so grossed out at Jack, like, drinking out of the blood bags.
Yeah. Oh, I would have been too. In person, not, you know.
But something I question logistically, when Jamal was like, "I have a few hanging in the fridge," I'm like, I feel like vampires like room temperature blood, like because of the when they drink it out of a person, it's warm. So like, I don't think they want it cold.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but I think he just didn't want them to just be laying out there.
Yeah, I guess it would spoil. I don't know.
Spoil. Either a spoiler or like Alice, or he didn't want Allison to know at the time. So.
Right. And Jamal is concerned at how much blood Jack is consuming,
Hmm.
but he says that he needs it to be strong so he can fight Caleb.
Hmm.
And then I guess he drank so much blood that he was able to like unlock a power because he like teleports.
He teleports. He's like that part I remember. That's I think that this episode, that specific part where he disappears, I remember.
Hmm. Um, I actually thought the wedding was gonna go off. I don't know why. It's a soap opera, but I thought maybe Jack was gonna be too late and they were gonna be like officially married.
Hmm.
But it got interrupted in true soap fashion because Jack teleported and he's there, so he
Yep.
didn't have to worry about that long trip to the mountains.
Nope.
um, Victor was very open-minded to the idea of vampires
Hmm.
existing once Lucy and Kevin explained everything to him. Because apparently, when he was in the military, there were like talks about it in Europe,
Hmm.
wherever he was in Europe, but he just thought it was like an urban legend. But he's like, oh, it makes sense now. I'm like, oh, it does.
Makes sense
Okay.
now. Oh, same Victor that helped out a little bit of time in a bottle with the because remember when I was about to call her Georgie. What was her name? Cookie. When
Okay.
Cookie carved her name in the in well, it's now Bobby's, but at Kelly's
At the windowsill.
in the windowsill. Yep.
Hmm.
He seems to be more open to supernaturalism than
Yeah.
I thought.
um. Also, Lucy was just like, she called him. What did she call Caleb? She called him. She basically implied that Caleb was like a mean vampire.
Yeah.
And Kevin was like, as opposed to your other type of vampires. um, but yeah, I don't know why I like this, but I like that a lot of the episodes of the week that we watch were actually the original airings, like the ABC versions.
Hmm.
I did miss the SoapNet promos, but it was
Yeah.
just nice to see it how it originally aired because the
Hmm.
ending credits look so different than like when they showed on SoapNet. It's like basically just stills from the episode.
Yeah, like
Which
all
are fun
General
too, because then
Hospital.
you get to do your fun little screen caps.
Yeah, well, I did catch one. I didn't post it on Twitter yet, but I did catch one. One episode was directed by Avril Lavigne,
There
and
was.
I caught the
There was
moment.
a face.
There was a face, yes.
That
And then I
has I
also need
almost
to
feel like
catch.
that's not on purpose. Like, I feel
I
like it's
feel like that
intentional.
isn't either. Although there should be some for Anthony Marina. Now that I think about it,
Was he on the show?
he was a director, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But because I follow Sally Sussman, I don't want to do that. So
Um, wow, I feel like a lot happened and I can't remember any of it. Like, I just feel like it was just like a bunch of like action that happened. Oh, Michael's still alive. Not
yeah,
week
Michael's still
9,
alive this
still
week.
alive. Am I misremembering? Does he not die? Like,
Well, I also remember that Charles Keaton's in this, so I'm wondering if that has a connection.
keep mentioning that, and it strikes like fear in my heart every
I
time you
know.
mention his name. I'm just like, ugh. Like my blood runs
Well,
cold.
Ian Buchanan appears on the show later on, even
Who?
as not as Duke.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because I think he was in the scene that I like got recommended where
Mhm.
Ian is a vampire. I was like, what? um, when Ian and Eve were basically packing to get out of town to go into hiding when she before like she had the pains.
Mhm.
I just kept thinking, I was like, "Wow, this will feel like a waste of knowing what happens." She's like, "I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lose another baby," like, he's like, "We're gonna be together forever," and I'm like, "Mm."
I'm not gonna lose another baby. So I think she had a baby. Well, not had. She was pregnant during the the pre-arcs,
Mhm.
and lost the baby. Speaking of which, I forgot. I forgot. I just remembered. So there was a lot of character development during, like, I think the third episode where they're in the monastery.
Okay,
Um,
yes.
so there was like a scene where Kevin says, like, "You don't know what it's like to lose a child," and she said, "You're right. I don't know." Implying, not, kind of saying like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know," and then Kevin remembered that she lost their baby at the beginning of the series.
Mhm.
I think she was pregnant another time and lost it during the series
Oh, really?
in the pre-arcs. Yeah,
And then it's not the same, but Christina's missing,
and Christina's missing. Yep.
which is the same because Livy's not dead, she's missing.
Yeah, she's missing. Yeah.
So she does know. She knows more than he knows.
Hmm. In fact,
Oh, you're
they
right. Was this when Lucy and, Eve hugged? Because I
yes.
really like that. I was like,
Uh
"Oh, this
huh.
is nice. I like this." Yeah.
And then also Kevin wanted Jack to bite him, and Lucy was like, "Oh hell no."
Um, there was a scene with, Michael and Caleb at the monastery where he tells them that they're getting married and that, he's allowing her to see her mother, and he's like, "You can't mess with her mind like that, like, it's not
Mhm.
real." And he's like, "I could do anything."
Mhm.
And I thought maybe this might be it for Michael because they have a little altercation, but no, he survived.
Nope, nope. I was expecting that too. I was like, "Okay, he's gonna kill him, isn't he?" And he's like, "Nope, didn't kill him."
That's when I started to think, I'm like, maybe he dies in, like, a final battle, and that's why I remember that? I'm like, or does he just stop
Yeah.
appearing and I thought he died? Like, I don't know.
Watch she appears very tempted, and we're like, "Wait a minute."
What? Why do I have this fake memory of him dying?
Yeah, because I know that, like, when Caleb comes back in, was it Naked Eyes?
I think so.
It's only Caleb.
Yeah,
It's Stephen Clay.
right.
So it's not Michael either. So
And not to go too far into the future and off topic, but don't, like, when Livy has, like, that Tess
mhm,
doppelganger, do they, like, merge into one?
I believe they do.
So, I mean, I don't think it will because that's thinking really far ahead, but maybe Michael and him merge into one.
Yeah. Well,
Probably not.
what happened was apparently sometime during this arc, the evil part of Livy and the good part of Livy split. We don't,
During
of
this
course, we
arc?
don't see it because it didn't happen. But they implied that last summer, so a
Uh-huh.
summer later, we see Tess, that good Livy and evil Livy split apart. Caleb did that.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I'm trying to figure out, like, where in which point of this arc would Caleb have done it? I'm thinking it would be around this time where they're in Maison de la
Mhm.
Noche, which means wedding house. And
Because apparently Jamal speaks French, or he, like, was trying to remember high school French.
yeah, I Google translated it, but that wasn't the thing back then. So
Right.
I was like,
You
wait
had,
a minute, Maison de la Noche.
you
Hold on,
had,
Maison
ask
de la Noche.
Jeeves.
Yeah.
Um, and we also had a scene of Michael praying and basically admitting that he does have feelings for another man's wife.
Oh,
And I couldn't tell if Eve actually heard him. The look on her face says yes when she was, like, peeking through the door when he said that he
mhm.
was in love with another man's wife.
But he didn't follow up with it this week.
They didn't, but that doesn't mean they won't. Well, right now
I
she's in
don't know.
labor.
Yeah,
We suspect induced labor from Caleb.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't I guess I had trouble retaining things this week because I felt like it was really exciting, and I feel like we mentioned all the big stuff.
Yeah, cause so Gabby was in the let's see, Gabby's in the cage now.
Yeah.
Uh, Jack set Maison de la. I was about to say Maison Blanche. Maison de la Dolce. Where are Kevin and Lucy at this point? I guess they didn't really do much with them.
Kevin and Lucy, maybe they're still at the apartment with Victor.
Yeah. Oh, they're still in the apartment with Victor. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jamal and Allison are still at their apartment because Jack transported to
Transported.
the transported.
We didn't see Frank and Karen this week, I don't think.
We did a little bit for a teeny tiny little bit. So that was when
We saw Frank.
that was when everybody called out. And Karen wanted to go on a date with Frank, but she couldn't because they were short staffed at the hospital.
Oh, okay.
And then that's when you see somebody pull Karen into the supply closet, and it was Frank, and they made out the supply closet. So that's where they're at that point. And they still don't know they're vampires of Port Charles. I don't think so.
Wow, they're doing so little with them. I block out the one moment they had.
Yeah. No, I literally just remembered it just now.
Yeah, that was actually a thought I had as far as being like short staffed. When Ian and Eve were like packing to leave, I was like, you just like always leave on a whim. Like you just leave in this hospital
They
high and
always
dry.
do that. Especially Eve. Like I know somebody in the comments in like the video the video during I think it was Time in a Bottle where they're like Eve always leaves, and then when she comes back, she demands like I need to be put
hours.
back on staff.
Like she just works whenever she wants to.
She does. Yeah, she did. How many times has she done it? She did it first. Well, first that wasn't a choice of her. She died.
Oh right.
Because she blew up in the car with Ian.
Yeah.
Then she left town to go to the island.
Mm-hmm. She went to the cabin.
To the cat. Then she left town after Chris had proposed to her.
Mm-hmm.
And now this. This is 4 times.
Right. And then when she has this baby, she's going to be out at least for 6 weeks for maternity
leave.
So she's a part-time doctor.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I don't remember her being a doctor when she has the baby.
Yeah.
Because we really only have like 2.5 more arcs of her.
I was say, but then do they even like mention the hospital at all? Like at all? Because I remember they like.
Do they phase the hospital out at one point?
I think they do kind of.
Oh wow!
But they're still doctors, but they don't have. I remember more supernatural stuff than more doctor stuff at this point. At that point, toward the end of the series,
so they just
I remember they got rid of the recovery room.
They did.
They did.
So do they get rid of like the hospital set that we usually see, like the lobby?
Either they got rid of it, or they like
just stopped showing it as much.
Or they stopped showing it as much. Like it's still there, but like if you need like a medical emergency, hey, remember these characters are important for these reasons. A few characters die.
Yeah,
very much one of them.
I guess if you're killing off all the characters that are connected to the hospital, then there's really not a point of showing it.
Yeah, because like I remember at the end of the series, the only I'm not gonna say it because then it spoils the other characters that are doctors that die. So
okay. Well, can you remember anything else that I didn't mention before we wrap this up?
I'm trying to remember. Maybe I should have wrote this down too.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe I should go back to writing down my notes instead of just going off the top of my head.
I'll use Google. I'll use Apple Notes and then I'll remember like, oh, I remember this part. I remember that part. I remember that part. Check it off. Check it off. Check it off.
I can't remember. For some reason, I always thought that Livy and Caleb actually did get married.
They do.
They
I
do.
won't say where. I won't say when, but they do get married eventually.
And I don't remember if he actually gets around to biting her or not.
He does when they get married.
Okay.
But I don't think in this arc though. But they
Oh,
do
okay.
get married at some point in the series.
Okay. Hmm. Um, yeah, and I'm just, like, wondering how long Michael's gonna, like, hang around
I
'cause
know. I do remember him dying. That's the thing. I do remember him dying. Maybe we have a shared false memory.
Yeah, what is that called? The Mandela effect, where we have the
Yeah,
shared memory that doesn't happen.
yeah. Like Produce Junction with not Produce Junction. Fruit of a Loom. We think we have the cornucopia when we don't.
Yeah.
That's probably what I thought of Produce Junction. I'm thinking Produce Junction instead of Fruit of the Loom. Anybody who doesn't know what Produce Junction is, it's literally in the title.
Yeah. Alright, well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Port Charles Tainted Love. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.
Bye.